26, 2025 regular planning commission meeting is called to order. The time is 6 p.m. Before we begin, commissioners, please put away cell phones. If you have personal business during the meeting, please move for a recess. If you are participating telephonically, please mute your phone unless you are speaking. Also, when speaking, please state your name for those streaming the meeting. As a reminder to attendees, this meeting is being streamed live. The camera is located in the back of the council chambers above the clock. Will the planning clerk please call the roll?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals.
Whoa. Oh,
Hold on.
Me.
Is that you?
figures.
Okay. Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Seals,
Here.
Commissioner Langell,
Here.
Commissioner DeYoung,
Present.
Commissioner Stafford.
Here.
Commissioner Seals, you now have a quorum with Commissioners Brown, Seals, Langell, DeYoung, and Stafford in the chambers.
Thank you. Please. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Brown, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item of business is approval of the agenda. Before changes are discussed, are there conflicts of interest to declare? If the commission would like to discuss anything under the consent agenda, such as the minutes, they need to be removed from the consent agenda and placed under new business at this time. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Chairman, with the minutes from the July 22nd, we need those removed for discussion and separate vote.
We can move them back to new business.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Commissioner Brown moved to approve the minutes with the noted change.
Commissioner Stafford seconds.
Will the clerk call for a roll call vote?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals,
Yes.
Commissioner Langell,
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung,
Yes.
Commissioner Stafford.
Yes.
You have an unanimous approval.
Thank you. Next on the agenda are reports. Do we have a report from our acting city planner tonight?
Thank you, Commissioner. Last meeting we had, you guys wanted a report on parking. That was one part of 16 that we have not amended or changed much, but it is a constant revolving conversation that happens on a daily basis in planning. And so we thought we'd give you an update on what the current standards are. We give you some real market analysis of what we're hearing. And then just keep in mind that there are parts of Wasilla now that are considered urban, that were not before the last census was taken. And so when you go to look at various parking standards for other cities, they tend to be very urban, like Anchorage and Juneau and Fairbanks. So we, like most topics, are very unique in that we don't have a parking problem as much as we have a traffic problem, which lends itself to parking. They go one and all. So this is something that our contract planner, Elise Blocker, helped us put together. And so any of the technical questions, she is here to support us. Oh, let's see, this is, oops, hold on, Harry. Here we go. So we thought we'd just give you our current standards and some of our challenges and why we should consider modernize them, especially for the future growth that we have happening. Some proposed changes that we think could accommodate where we are today and in the future, what other cities have done in Alaska, and then, you know, if we were to implement some kind of plan to move forward, what would that look like? So every day that we get a permit in planning, it looks like this. It's a constant conversation of how can we make this work and how can we get this permit out the door. And so the reason that it's challenging is that downtown you have these very small lots and it may be a restaurant and then you have to find 24 or 35 parking spots. Or it could be just the general geography of a piece of property that doesn't lend itself to even allow a parking lot to be designed. And so has to be very flexible to make it work. But parking in general is not new to the Wasilla Title 16, and you can actually find parking in various parts of the code. So we tend to associate it with the new development, but it also is part of existing structures. So if you're going to buy or sell a piece of property, maybe an office building that you're going to convert to a restaurant, then we have to recalculate the parking based on what that use is. It's also part of landscaping. So that's where the islands come in and where you're going to store your snow. And if you store your snow one place, where is that going to run off to? But it's also in section 13 as it pertains to parking airplanes and transient parking of airplanes. And then it also in section 10, which is public works, talks about public parking. So you've got public parking across from Grape Tap, you have public parking over by Crazy Moose, and then right across the road here. And so that's so it's not new to Wasilla. It's been in code for quite a while. But the challenge now is we're going from parts of the city being rural to urban, and we have to figure out how much flexibility that we can have, especially the downtown, because that's heavily regulated with the downtown overlay right now, and it has some pretty strong restrictions on how much parking you need and even the size of the parking lots. Because one thing we say, Wasilla has big families and we have big trucks. And it snows and it gets dark for a long time. And so we have to consider not only how do we move from this new designation, but what's that going to look like for maintenance and how are we going to manage parking and how are we going to enforce parking. And you'll see in some of the businesses on Main Street that have had really good success, their parking lots are not paved. It's pretty restricted for any kind of snow plowing, any kind of maintenance. It's very hard to even enforce parking if it's not paved. There's not some kind of organization to it. And so we looked around and we thought, well, what would be the reason to have standards that could accommodate growth? We all know we're growing, we all feel it. Holly called today and said, it's 3:30, why is there traffic? I'm stuck in front of Ford. Well, because we're growing and we have traffic. The current parking standards that we have, there's very little flexibility that we have, especially in the downtown overlay. So as new construction happens, and you'll see on a couple lots down here that is being constructed, the amount of parking spots they have to have is one part of the equation, and the other is where did those parking spots go? We just got our first application for a heated parking lot downtown, which is exciting in one sense because it makes sense that you would want it to be heated, but on the other, it's accessed by an alleyway, and if they put the parking spots over the utilities and we have to access them, that's an additional cost to the landowner. And so we want to make sure that they're very aware of that before they go to design the parking lot. So those are very important to have that flexibility. We also have to identify future users and their needs. Who's going to utilize the downtown, especially like the downtown couplet project that's happening you know, who, after that couplet's done, who's gonna be the main users down there? Do we need more parking or less? When I first came to the city, they were doing a parking inventory, and it's very hard to go out there and figure out whose parking spots belong to who. Very expensive to manage. The other thing is mixed use. We have had a couple permits where they have commercial on one level and they have residential on the next level, and the requirements for residential are different than commercial. And so then you have to consider parking all throughout the night. You have to consider the amount of access. So we don't have, right now, we don't have a way to permit mixed use other than say it's commercial. So we might want to consider that. We've seen that as well with restaurants that might have a bunch of food trucks, or they might have buses in the summer where they take up 6 or 7 parking spots. It gets pretty, and it's not only, say, a new restaurant opens and they decide they want to have tour buses in the summer, that's also traffic. And that takes up, you know, single lots that were designed for cars and not buses. So we have been intentional about asking the permit applicants, are you foreseeing a need for larger vehicles like buses in the summertime? If so, let us know. And then the other thing is that how we manage these parking spots, there's really a misalignment between the code and the agreement. So a very common instrument, and Holly definitely back us up, is shared parking agreements between the tenants and the landlord, but they are not the strongest instrument for us to use if there's a legal problem, I would say. And so we do get these parking agreements in from different users, but then how do you enforce that? If I have a restaurant and Mr. Seals has got a maintenance shop and he says, you can use 12 of my parking spots from 8 at night until 5 in the morning, how do we enforce that? I mean, that's very hard to enforce. So we have to consider the code and, you know, are we gonna accept these agreements as we have in the past, or are we gonna let the landlords basically do what they wanna do on their property? Which is the most flexibility we could have. So we didn't want to just give you all the standards, but what are some solutions that we have found to be a possibility, and you guys could consider them in the future? One is having this flexible zoning parking requirements by districts. So you don't just put one standard for the whole town, but you say in commercial district, there's a standard versus the downtown overlay might have a different parking standard, which is similar to what it is now, versus the industrial or the airport would have a different set of requirements. But then again, you would be creating more red tape. So you have to figure out, how do you have flexible zoning with minimums by districts? Also accommodate, you know, what is the true cost of enforcing? There is a cost associated with enforcement. And so how do we budget for that? And do we want public parking to have some fee associated to it? Or is that one of the great things of having a business downtown, is the parking is provided by the city at no cost? The other thing is have Alaska-specific solutions, like where is the snow going to be stored? We have larger vehicles. We probably need extra lighting because of the darkness, that the long winters, especially where there's a lot of pedestrian traffic. And then the last is just keep streamlining our permitting. So if they do need to expand a parking lot and they have a permit with us, they can go online. They can put in a request to modify that existing permit and keep it so they have access to that information as much as they want. Then also talk about maintenance and expansion. One of the great things about Wasilla is most of the businesses that have opened or have been open for a while have really seen an uptick in success. And I would say from Chepo's and where they started and the amount of traffic they have now to the other end of the city where even Lowe's and Home Depot, you talk to them, they have to get their inventory very early in the spring, which takes up a lot of their parking. You go up to the clinic that's expanding, a third of their parking is now storing their construction materials. So parking is being utilized as a solution for many things, not just to park your car. And we have to be really open with the applicant and have those conversations. When you do the first phase of construction, are you anticipating a third of your parking is gonna be taken for supply management, and how are you gonna get your employees back and forth to your office? And then the other thing is, we probably won't come to a solution tonight, but at least this gives you guys a baseline. When you do kind of a comprehensive analysis of what are the parking standards in the state, it always goes back to big cities. It always goes back to Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Juneau. They all have different solutions. Anchorage said, let's eliminate parking minimums, and the result is they got more mixed use downtown. Fairbanks, they lowered their parking requirements for the low demand uses, and so they actually attracted, again, more downtown businesses. And then Juneau was a little different. They do a lot of shared parking and parking minimums, but that was for a whole revitalization project that they did down. So they took one part of their city and said, we're gonna just try it here. They brought in $5 million of private investments, and then they sized their parking accordingly that they'll duplicate around the city. So lastly, I just wanted to just recap, reducing the parking minimums, I think, is really an attraction to developers because they'll come up with the solution on their own. Consider shared parking initiatives where shared parking spots are acceptable and they're using the land to its greatest use. And then we don't have public transit right now, but it is a conversation at the Mat-Su Borough right now because the commuters that go back and forth from Anchorage, they have to stop somewhere. Right now they're stopping at these shared park and goes, which are just outside the city limits, but what if we had one inside the city? What would that look like? And then just some lessons that, most of the time we have to consider as community engagement, like the downtown business owners, keeping some kind of data in our permit process so we can clearly understand square footage that's being developed or maybe buildings that are being revitalized, and then create some kind of 5-year standard where people that are either moving in or developing understand what our plan is for the next 5 years. It's gonna change because what we have is very elementary right now. And so I just put a couple solutions here. The alternatives, and of course this is urban, they encourage to walk more than you drive, but that's not always possible. That's why people like the valley. You don't have to walk anywhere. We have to consider the size of the vehicles. Vehicles are getting bigger, large trucks. Winter's dark and long, and again, just making sure they have access to their permit requirements because they're gonna have to modify those. Let's see what else we have here. I think that was it. Oh, just kind of a call to action. So some of the things you guys can consider if you want to take action on that is as part of our comp plan, we could always do a parking inventory just to better assess, do we have how much public or private or shared parking in different zones? We could also pilot a mixed use parking for some of our larger developments like Sun Mountain or over Steam Commons. And then if you want to be real about parking, you have to enforce it. And we don't have, as Commissioner Seals will say, we have one code compliance person that has more than enough.
Charlie can do it.
And if Charlie was here tonight, he probably would leave early. Yeah. So what we will do is we'll attach, or we'll send you guys this presentation for you to just kind of use as a chalkboard. But I hope that you find some value in what we had to share tonight. And I'm really excited about getting a planner. Did I tell that? That wasn't part of my presentation. But...
No, you didn't say.
Okay, well, I'm very excited about getting a planner. Any questions?
One of the biggest questions, just reading ADN this morning, the issues that's coming up throughout the state on electric car plug-ins. Is that going to be part of this planning? Because it really needs to be looked at now.
We have not considered it, and we don't have anything in code that would even start that conversation. So that's one thing we could consider when you modernize it. I think it's no secret Palmer had quite a discussion around parking for new businesses that were coming to Palmer that did not have adequate parking. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is buy a piece of property and then not be able to have parking for your business. So I do know that they have redesigned some of their street parking. We have a new development going on here in the city where we had to withdraw on their plans, take 7 parking spots off of the original parking lot and put it on side street, on the side of the street, just because of the utilities, where the utilities were located. I mean, when you start putting water and sewer in these small lots, it gets pretty dicey. But I think the most important thing is to tell the landowners right up front, this will be a cost if we have to dig it all up. And we don't want to be surprising landowners anymore. Any other questions? I knew
Yes.
you'd have one.
You mentioned Juneau and Fairbanks, their parking habits. Yes, they have come up with a solution, but I can tell you, I was at both places recently, and depending on what time of day or night you get there, you may have to park a half a mile or more away to get to the business you want to get to because of the limited parking and stuff. And if the citizens' parking is not a consideration, then I guess that's okay, but that's something we hope we look at deeply is for parking and stuff as we allow more and more business to come in, that eat up more and more land, which means there's less parking spaces. And the Baranoff Hotel, if you get there at the wrong time of night, you will not be parking at the Baranoff. You'll be parking somewhere else and
Right.
walking to the place you're spending $300 a night for. So, and the same thing in Fairbanks. Downtown, if you plan to eat at a restaurant, depending on what time you get there, you're probably gonna park somewhere else and walk to that restaurant.
And they do have enforcement. And-
Yes.
And they
Well,
do
you
give
gotta do that in
tickets.
Anchorage too, depending on where you're going, you have to walk
Yeah,
sometimes.
so,
Yeah, especially with some of the older buildings that we have in Wasilla, the landowners, when they bought the property, it already had a parking spot, and they did anticipate that they would have 6 or 7 tenants. They thought they'd have 3. But every square inch of that real estate that you can have commerce matters. The other thing is in parking lots, as you put like a coffee stand, and that takes up some of your parking, and then you have traffic. We've had 2 permits that have come in downtown for drive-through coffee, and it's not feasible for the amount of traffic we have going right now, and bringing the utilities to those businesses is very expensive. So we tried to include as much practical, real-life conversations that we've had in this presentation, and if you have further questions, just come by planning. We have good coffee in planning.
yeah. Just one last question. With the new streets going in, Main Street and Boundary, have someone looked at how that's gonna either decrease parking spaces for those businesses?
That is an excellent question. And so there again, Main Street is owned by DOT, and the businesses have to somehow plan so they can access. And that's limited as well, because DOT is gonna tell them which way they wanna access and how many parking spots they're gonna have. And Mr. Seals can attest to this. There's been a lot of talk about street parking versus diagonal parking and how many. And it's definitely a partnership with DOT, and I don't know how you find that balance, because I haven't found one person that's super happy about the parking conversation. But it's important, because it's, along with parking comes the traffic and comes the people, and that's a complicated problem. But I know you guys can solve it, so. Thank you very much.
Just thinking about this this whole thing, the little business unit down where Raising Cane's and Jersey Mike's and Papa John's and Smashburger is, every time I pull in there, I wonder who approved this parking lot. Most of the time, there's no parking spots available. So then you're parking over in front of the pet store, or you're parking all the way over in Fred Meyer's, or.
I've never had to park that.
But So my first thought was this needs to be regulated. But then any additional parking spots is going to reduce tenant space. Smaller buildings, less business, less revenue. And then I was thinking, well, the business owner would have a motive to make sure they have enough parking for their customers. Should government even be regulating this? Because the business owners are going to have to act, and if they have no parking, then they have no customers because I can't get to your business. So I think as we approach this, I definitely will be coming from the opinion of the businesses should know if they want to stay in business, they should know what they need and should be designing their facilities accordingly. But I don't think it's going to be simple in every case to make that determination. And the only thing that I would be concerned about is if I put in so little parking that my customer spills over into my neighbor's parking lot, then that's not right for my neighbor, that I've created this problem for them.
That's why you share.
So I don't know how you guys are going to figure that out, but good luck.
That is a good example of bad parking standards, that parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you have islands where probably didn't need islands, does have a drainage problem. You have tenants that come with a permit, they've already signed a 10-year lease, they want to have parking. And then I think the other thing is, post-COVID, what we hear is DoorDash is 4 or 5 spots between 11 and 2 that they're coming and going all the time. The faster they can get in, the better. So those aren't really customer parking spots. Those are for DoorDash, and that probably wasn't even considered when that development happened. And they just said, okay, for this size of building, you're gonna have to have this many parking spots. But when we get the application, they will stand on their head and jump through any hoops they have to get that permit approved. And so when you walk in and they have one table, it's because they couldn't meet the minimum parking requirement. And they can go, some businesses are really friendly about shared parking, others are not. And so that's just a challenge, yeah. It's not as bad as barking dogs, but it's similar. Thank you very much.
Do we have a report from our city attorney tonight? Are we gonna do the Wasilla Airport? Mike's off. There you go. Are we still gonna do the Wasilla Airport land swap? It's on my.
I can answer questions if you guys have something. I can pitch it again, or you can ask me questions if you'd like me to come up in front. But
Let's just do it.
I agree 100%.
Come on up.
What are we gonna talk about?
What?
We need parking. Get over there where we have parking and yeah.
Well, I got a parking plan.
How many spots are you willing to share?
72. Actually, one of the big things about that spot is the trolley for downtown that we have discussed to have parking when the train comes in, where the buses can accumulate, and then we can use trolleys. In our plan, my strategic plan is to have the trolleys, so if you want to have people go to the museums out in Diderot or downtown, they can come in one spot, park the buses, and then we'll trolley them back and
For those
forth.
watching, could we please identify who's speaking?
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
Thank you.
James Grogan from the Museum of Alaska Transportation and Industry.
Thank you.
Sir,
Did you sign in?
I did sign in back there. Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, we have, super appreciate being able to put this forward, and I've got big plans. My problem is, the bureaucracy or how I properly put the resolution forward, what do I need to do as the business, as the 501c3, to put it on your step, or how you would like me to do that. So, more than willing to figure that out, but, we've got some really good plans. Just some quick highlights was the logistics of this, the sooner the better. We have year-round advertising, parking spots, moving the dirt, doing the brick grants and applying for those grants to make sure we've got the clean space and the proper space, treated properly and put away properly. And then one of the big deals was, and I don't know if this is getting ahead of myself, but the museum was talking with the mayor about moving those houses downtown. We would keep them authentic, we would keep them historic. That's the museum's intent, is community, history, and keeping those things there. And that would give you guys a tremendous amount of property over here that would just be, for a city square or whatever you guys decide to do, but it frees up a huge zone, puts the homes over at a museum where we can display them, put them out there as well. We did talk about the trolley, several trolleys, and putting people downtown. We'd bus them back and forth, make that a tourist destination. And one new thing that has come up is I've gotten wind of Matt Sue's putting in that big visitor center. And part of our education plan, we've got the building plans, we've purchased those, and we're ready to build. It's just now we're gonna build it over on our property where we're at now or over here, because it's an education center as well, and we can make that into a heck of a conference center, which if you've been to Fairbanks, they've got that beautiful museum/conference center with education facilities, places to have schoolrooms and classrooms for all sorts of things, and that would be out there as well. So that's part of our education plan that we have for the museum in our current location, that we do have the building plans purchased and ready to go on. So we've got the big plans. We're really excited to get moving. We'd like to get moving sooner than later. Moving aircraft, we've got 6 locomotives that weigh in excess of 100 tons. So how the city's gonna partner with us to use your resources, our resources, and how we move those trains, and working with Alaska Railroad is also a big deal. We're talking to them as well to put in the switch track and the 557 and the locomotives we have at the museum now. All of them historic artifacts, so there's a lot of logistics.
Question, so at this point, and the rumors are already floating all over the place of what's gonna happen. So do your group, do they have an actual concept plan in place that's written, that has the funding attached, or is it all still just planning?
We have a combination of both. I'm spending money you guys haven't approved yet, so if we get the land and the swap and the 2 million, does that include, now the museum has to move everything? Are we allowed to use city assets because you guys have the flatbeds and the CDL drivers and the resources, that we would have to go out and rent those resources if we did it all on ours versus if the city could do it? Alaska Road. So yes, we have a tentative plan with 2 Plan Bs, and it's just a matter of, I think the land we've looked at out there by Home Depot is really our best Plan A option. We have a Plan B and a Plan C that I could put in that resolution, but they're not near as exciting. Or to me, it cleans up the city, it cleans up the area. It makes, when you drive into Wasilla, you've got this big, beautiful aircraft sitting out there and locomotives, and you've got this really positive aspect versus a dirt hill and old concrete pillars. So I think it would really beautify the city as well as make it a destination there as well. Tremendously beneficial for the museum.
I guess at this point, if it's okay for the procedures, can the commission direct the planning department to work with this group to come up with a quasi-plan for consideration by the planning commission to refer to the council?
To Commissioner Langell through Chairman Seals. After last meeting, we, the planning department, took it upon ourselves to explore what the options were for that property. It is a registered brownfield property, which means it is eligible for being revitalized into something the community would want. So we met with DEC, we got the criteria, we got the eligibility confirmed, and that's a good place for planning to start, because you have to know what is legal for you to do with that property. And we will bring a presentation forward from ADEC about brownfields in the near future, so you guys understand that, and we all are on the same page. But the request for any kind of legislation would not come in, Holly will weigh in, would not come through the commission. It would come through the administration to the city council, and then be an advisory from the commission, I believe, is the right legislative path to take.
Yes, the first step, you're looking at a land exchange. You're looking at a land exchange, and when you're looking at a land exchange, you're really looking at the disposal of an interest in city property. If you're looking at collaboration for management of that, you're looking at a contract that is involved with the interest in the land. Even though I think one of the reasons why Crystal wanted to bring everybody on board and get the conversation started with the commission is because of the unique use. And so most definitely there will be efforts to engage the commission along the way. But the first step, as far as legislatively goes, is the administration would work on an agreement that involves the exchange, that involves the terms and provisions, and that really rests with the authority of the mayor and the council for approval. And then to the extent there's land use components, then the commission will be seeing the administration back with more presentations and perhaps a request for a resolution regarding a recommendation that pertains to a land use. And then that's not including, obviously, the commission's role on any permitting or other conditional uses, variances, anything like that, that might be triggered.
Go ahead.
So if the city approved the land swap in the next 60 days, how soon could you be ready to start doing things?
We're pretty much vamped up now to start moving different items. It just depends on the cold. Like the locomotives, it's gonna take a whole switch, et cetera, but the aircraft, we can start disassembling and moving them into place as soon as we get permission to do so. So again, part of that is also removing some of those large stanchions that are out there. There's some pretty good sized concrete that we're getting some plans on. What we're trying to do is we've got an architect looking at it to possibly make that into a place where the aircraft could rest on top of that. So it'd be a nice display and good use of that very deep, a lot of concrete right there. So there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, but we can move almost immediately. And that's what I'd like to work on is over the winter time, we can move a lot of the stuff like the gift shop and the smaller vehicles, that kind of stuff, and then start construction when we get proper, all the permits, et cetera. But, yeah,
I'd just like to add that the other component of this is the master plan for the airport. That will be completed in October or November of this year, and we have to be very, very intentional about following that master plan. And part of the 20-year plan includes the property that you currently reside on. And so it is in the master plan, but that has to be all approved by the council and by FAA. And so it's not, he doesn't come to my house and we sign a piece of paper. It's not gonna work that way. FAA is gonna drive that narrative because that's a very, very important project to the city. And this could be a complementary plan. But we wanna make sure that we're very transparent with everybody in what we're doing.
Mr. Chair, it's been years since I've been to your facility, but I remember you have a very extensive collection. Will all of that stuff fit over here?
No, our plan, we're working with Museums Alaska and some other museums. No, about maybe 1 out of 10 items will come over. We have a lot of we've got 17 fire trucks. We probably bring 10 of them over, the best 10.
So you'll pare things down to make
Yeah,
it.
we'll pare things tremendously down, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that's per museum plans. And again, what is authentic Alaska history, what pertains to this area versus, that's just a fire truck that was here, we don't need that.
Yeah, just because it's interesting doesn't mean it's historic.
Correct, yeah, we're sticking big to Alaska history.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Well, I just personally feel that it's so important the city has an opportunity to be in partnership with a well-established organization that would benefit both them and the city, and it would be a shame to be 10 years down the road and here we are saying, we haven't done anything yet.
One more question, if I could. You mentioned a conference center.
Yes, sir.
What size were you guys looking at doing? Like,
About a 25,000 square foot.
Okay.
It's the one very similar to the one in Fairbanks.
okay,
And that's where we got some of the building plans and ideas from them. If we did, right now our plan is it's just over 15,000, the building plans we have. But what they have is much more extensive and if you've ever been up there, it's quite a beautiful building.
okay. All right, thank you.
My comment is I appreciate this coming forward and the way the administration's handling this, and there's really good coffee and planning.
Just one more question. Where can the public get information on your plans?
So that's something I've held off on. We just built a brand new website that we published out last week. I'm holding back until I've got proper, more direction and more what we're gonna do versus the rumor mills. Because we're also getting that, hey, we hear you moving. And that's a lot of people saying, well, we don't want to do some things if you're going to be moving anyway. But that's just something for the rumor mill, but I will get with the city and talk about what we should put on the website, because that's something we're also trying to raise funds for. We have another building we're putting together for the Whale, and that's gotten a tremendous amount of positive feedback for the area, a natural history type museum on top of the transportation, which is why we've changed it to doing business as Museum of Alaska, because it's basically, we've broadened out to not just steel, but also the natural history of Alaska and this area in particular. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Do we have a report from our city attorney tonight?
No report tonight, Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to public participation. We're now at persons to be heard, a time for members of the public to share their views with the Planning Commission. This is not a question and answer period or a time for dialogue. Speakers may be referred to administration, or issues raised may be taken under advisement by the commission or administration. Anyone wishing to step forward may do so at this time.
Commissioner Seals, since item 7 was moved, is this the opening of, or new business? I would like to speak to item under new business. Do I have to wait?
You could speak now about it.
Okay.
And you could also speak in the public participation part of the hearing as well.
Thanks.
So, welcome, please write your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet. When you're finished, state your name for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you, Commission, Chairman Seals. My name is John Klaperich, K-L-A-P-P-E-R-I-C-H. I've been an active participant in the city for 40 consecutive years, both as having businesses in the city that collected sales tax, as well as a family that spends sales tax money daily. And I bring that up because I speak with credibility and experience, and I find it appropriate that tonight's the 40th anniversary of when I brought Wasilla's first FM radio station to town in 1985, 99.7. And why that's significant in the radio business, you need to know everyone's business. In order for me to succeed, to attract my listeners, to bring business to them, I had to learn the restaurant plan. I sat down with Bob Andres, and then I said, and then Harold Nye, how does this work? And so learning business, and I find it passionate, and I'm excited to enhance people's business to this day. And I have some businesses downtown Wasilla, and I represent businesses downtown Wasilla. So I find it refreshing that the commission, in your own resolution, downtown overlay zone has failed to attract business. Downtown overlay zone has failed the residents and visitors to Wasilla by less choices and less sales tax brought in since it's been in place, which you could have plowed sidewalks, hired police, done all kinds of things with, but the restrictions and obligations were so overwhelming and so snuffing that many, if most businesses that wanted to come downtown have not. To this day, they haven't. Because it's too restrictive to figure out how to do business. Go block up the street. Those that said yes, the cost was so prohibitive, the parking was so small, it would never pencil out. Even bankers say, if you're gonna move to Wasilla, stay out of the downtown because we're not gonna loan you money, because it's ridiculous. So you're gonna vote tonight on repealing the downtown overlay zone. And I highly encourage you. Number one, it's gonna attract business. Number two, it's gonna be good for citizens. And I participated last Thursday to the new comp plan 2045, and I am very confident that new comp plan over the next year, which won't be completed till October of 26 at the earliest, with Dowell Group, is going to invite participants. It's going to achieve what we want to without this current ridiculous overlay. And I just applaud you for listening and being attentive, and I probably will not use my 5 minutes again, but you've got it. Unanimously approve it so the city council can. I like you. Stop.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? With no one else wishing to speak, the next item of business is the consent agenda. Would the planning clerk please read items for approval under the consent agenda into the record?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. There are no items under the consent agenda now that the meeting minutes from July 22nd have been moved to new business.
Moving on. Next on the agenda is new business. Do we want to tackle our new business first? I think that would be wise to get that out of the way first. So I need a motion to repair the minutes.
What about public hearing?
We just had public participation.
Right.
We have, I'm moving an item that was moved from the agenda to new business
I understand.
ahead of this one, so that we can probably get this done really fast. And then we'll have more time to pay attention to our 8.1.
Got it.
Thank you.
Planning clerk, through the chair to the attorney, is this an appropriate time to move the minutes?
Yes, you can move the minutes. They were removed from the consent agenda and they weren't placed anywhere. Is that right? They were just
They were
removed from the
placed in new
consent agenda.
business.
So they are currently, I mean, I would just leave that, yeah, oh, it was new business, so it's appropriate to take them first.
Okay. Can we give the floor to Commissioner Langell?
Yes.
I would think you would start with just a motion to approve the minutes, because they've been moved off the consent agenda, so the chair would just say, can I get a motion
Yeah,
to approve the
I
minutes?
agree.
And then that will open up discussion, so
Yeah.
Commission Member Langell can share her thoughts.
Commissioner Brown moved to approve the minutes from July 22nd, 2025.
Commissioner Seals seconds.
Commissioner Lanchill, I'd like to make an amendment to approving the minutes. Upon review of the video of the Planning Commission meeting of July 22nd, 2025, covering the commission's discussion of Wasilla Airport and Museum of Alaska Transportation land swap, and this is per the video. I move to correct the July 22nd, 2025 Planning Commission minutes, item 12, to read, Commissioner Stafford moved to instruct the planning department prepare a resolution supporting this project for the next meeting. Seconded by Commissioner Brown, motion passed unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. So, Ms. Langhill, you're pointing out the fact that the minutes read, I moved for further discussion. Your review of the video shows that I moved to ask to have a resolution prepared.
Correct.
Is that, okay. So then can I make a motion that we amend the July 22, 2025 minutes to include the language from the video where I called for a resolution?
I think
versus
we should I think it's easier and will be
I'm
less.
sorry,
for the, I think we
can
just
I
fix
interrupt?
it and then you make a motion to amend the minutes and then we will include the
Point of order,
correction.
please. I apologize, I did not wear my hearing aids tonight. I am having difficulties hearing.
I'm sorry, is that better?
Yes, that's better.
I'm
Thank
horrible
you.
at keeping it close, so I will keep it close tonight. So I think we would just do a motion to amend the minutes to change, and then let's just be specific, and I sort of lost the amendment. So where were you in the amendment where we need to change that word?
Which paragraph?
It was under commissioner comments,
Okay,
and the attorney present, the discussion was, how do we move forward on the Transportation Museum ideas? And Commissioner Stanford asked the question, and the attorney that was present said you would request or instruct the planning department to do a resolution. We did that, he made the motion passed unanimously to have a resolution presented at this meeting. And it is actually on, let's see,
so if I had been the attorney here, just, I'm gonna say this and I can talk about it later. I would say that we do not want a resolution from the planning commission at this stage regarding this type of project, because the planning commission may very well be making a quasi judicial decision on some aspect of the program. So I'm going to change the minutes, and then I will report back next month as to our preparation of the resolution. But I'm sharing that with you now, just so that you're not eagerly anticipating that resolution.
so are you saying that the minutes should not be corrected?
No, I am not. I absolutely would not leave those minutes uncorrected. I'm correcting it right now, and then I'll help you fashion a motion to put that forward. The minutes should be corrected. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up that
We're not getting a resolution, which
You're
is
not getting
fine,
a
because
resolution.
it's too
No.
complicated with the airport
So-
and everything else.
but at least not at this stage. I think,
Yeah.
your participation will be
It'll be
worked
like
on.
what's coming up here in a while, where it comes back to us eventually.
That's fine. All I'm asking for is that the minute be corrected.
Is it
We're gonna do that.
Commissioner Langell? Is it Langell? Lanchel. Am I saying your name correctly?
Landfill, it's pronounced with an H in there.
Lanchel. Okay, thank you. So I think Commissioner Stafford moved to direct, was it a particular person, like direct the attorney to prepare a resolution or direct staff to prepare a resolution? It doesn't have to be exact, but
It's,
You have your written notes of
Yes,
what I said, right?
again, and I guess since we're in discussion, I kind of thought to myself, I thought I had been told that the planning department had contracted out having the minutes transcribed. And I thought, well, how can a transcriber make this type of error? But so be it. But if you listen to the tape, and it's at 1.36 on the tape, and it's toward the very end that this is brought up, and the motion was made, seconded, and passed unanimously. And I think I pretty well, after listening to it numerous times, have it word for word.
wonderful. Could you repeat those words? So I'm just trying, I am certainly not a transcriber, and so I'm just trying to, Commissioner Stafford move to, and then I just need those 3 or 4 words that you said before, now that I have got my bearings and I'm in the section that we're correcting. So I'm sorry, it took me a minute to catch up to you, but I just need the last words. Was
Okay,
it to direct
yes.
someone to prepare a
Commissioner
resolution?
Stafford moved to instruct the planning department prepare a resolution supporting this project for the next meeting, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Motion passed unanimously.
Great. Okay, so these are minutes, they're not a transcription, so one of the things that, I think I've gotten the gist of that, and so what the motion would be is a motion to amend the minutes, the July 22nd minutes on page 5, to strike the words "for further discussion" and insert the words "instruct the planning department to prepare a resolution supporting."
This project for the next meeting.
I don't think we need to say, because you already have the project at the next meeting at the end of that sentence. So I don't think that we need to add that in.
did we get a written copy?
And I'll hand this to the planning clerk.
Call for the vote.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Stafford,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals,
Yes.
Commissioner Langell,
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung.
Yes.
We have a unanimous approval to amend the July 22nd minutes as presented.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
It's already, so we just need to vote. Yeah, we,
All right, let's call for a vote.
That was the amendment, now it's for the minutes.
We have to do twice.
Okay. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Stafford,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals,
Yes.
Commissioner Langell,
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung.
yes.
We have any unanimous?
We do.
Approved minutes for July 22nd.
Now we're back on track to 8.1.
Yes, we are back. Sorry. Thank you, everyone.
Jeff, get up here.
All right, will the contract planner please provide a report? Oh, wait, you gotta read it. Next item on the agenda is 8.1, new business. Will the acting city planner please read the agenda item under new business?
Thank you, Chair Seals. So under new business, we have an application CU 2504, resolution number 2507. Applicant is Mechanical Services Jeff Hack. Request is approval for a 12,200 square foot building as a tenant rental. The prospective tenant is a gymnastic youth training facility. The lot area is 0.92 plus acres. Location, Overlook Business Park, Block 3, Lot 1, 2100 East Industrial Drive, Wasilla, Alaska, 99654. Zoning is commercial. I would like to introduce Lise Blocker with our contract planner.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading the summary here on page 48. I'm going to skip down to reviewing parties number 4. So reviewing parties due deference has been given to the comments and recommendations of reviewing parties. The city sent 27 notices to reviewing parties in accordance with WMC 16.08.040. At the time of packet presentation, 2 comments were received. Any comments received after the distribution of the packet will be provided at the public hearing and be addressed at that time. Staff recommends, as a condition of approval, that the applicant shall resolve all comments and concerns raised by reviewing agencies to the satisfaction of those agencies. We received a revised comment, which should be in your binder, from DOT, which says no objection to the conditional use and to apply for a driveway permit. And then going back to the summary, page 49, I'm going to read off number 7. Per traffic, the proposed use shall not overload the street system with traffic or result in unsafe streets or dangers to pedestrians. When development is proposed and the volume of traffic is expected to exceed 100 vehicles during the peak hour, as estimated by the city planner, a licensed professional engineer shall conduct an analysis of the vehicle trip generation characteristics of the development. The engineer may use the average trip generation factors in the table in subsection B of this section, which are based upon the Institute of Transportation Engineers Information Report, Trip Generation, 3rd edition, to determine anticipated traffic for establishing the number, size, and design of driveway, access roads, and intersection improvements needed to accommodate the development. The staff finding, this criterion is met. East Industrial Drive and Old Matanuska Road will provide primary access to the site. The current plans allow for ingress and egress to and from the site off Old Matanuska Road. A second exit will be provided on East Industrial Drive. The proposed use, the athletic training facility, will not overload the street system with traffic or result in unsafe street streets or dangerous to pedestrians. Moving on to 8 on page 49, the dimensional standards, the dimensional requirements of WMC 16.24.010 are met. The staff finding is this criterion is met per WMC 16.24.010. This includes building height, setback requirements for buildings for lot lines and parking. And then moving on to page 50, number 9, parking. The parking loading areas and snow storage sites for the proposed shall be adequate, safe, and properly designed. The developer may be required to install acceptable lighting and pedestrian or vehicle access points. Staff finding, this condition is met. According to the table of parking requirements in WMC 16.24.040, the minimum number of required parking spaces for the facility is 30, based on the standards for classroom and school shops and vocational rooms for 9th grade and below, which requires 1 parking space per 400 square feet of gross floor area. The applicant has provided a total of 33 parking spaces, including 2 ADA compliant spaces, thereby meeting the minimum requirement. The facility will operate different age group classes and a preschool during daytime hours. In addition to the on-site parking, the applicant has secured agreements with both the adjacent CCS Early Learning Center and the neighboring Impact Athletic Building, providing access to approximately 80 additional parking spaces. Moving on to 12 on page 50. Large developments, residential development of more than 4 units or non-residential development of more than 10,000 square feet gross floor area may be required to provide a site plan showing measures to be taken for the preservation of open space, sensitive areas, or other natural features. Provision of common signage, provision for landscaping, and provisions for safe and effective circulation of vehicles, pedestrian, bicycles. Non-residential large developments must be located with frontage on one of the following classes of streets: interstate, minor arterial, major collector, or commercial. The staff finding is this criteria is satisfied. According to the Mat-Su Borough Official Streets and Highways Plan, the Old Matanuska Road is designated as a minor collector and East Industrial Drive is as a major collector. East Industrial Drive meets the criterion based on its classification and right-of-way width per plat number 76.4-46. Both roads have a 50-foot right-of-way. While the Official Streets and Highways Plan does not include a classification for commercial roads, the traffic way width requirements outlined in WMC 12.12.04.050 for minor collectors and commercial roads are equivalent, with identical surface and shoulder dimensions. Therefore, Old Matanuska Road satisfies the criterion and can be considered a sufficient traffic way, particularly given the presence of similar developments in the surrounding area. Moving on to 13, page 51, peak use. The proposed use shall not result in significantly different peak use characteristics than surrounding uses or other uses allowed in the district. This criterion is satisfied. There should not be a different peak use characteristics in the surrounding uses or area, since the surrounding area is zoned commercial with rural residential to the south, separated by the Alaska Railroad. The applicant has secured agreements with both the adjacent CCS Early Learning Center and the neighboring Impact Athletic Building, providing access to approximately 80 additional parking spaces for special events. So moving on to page 52, the recommendation. Based on the findings above, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit with the following conditions. The applicant shall resolve all comments and concerns raised by reviewing agencies to the satisfaction of those agencies. Number 2, the applicant must obtain a letter from the Central Mat-Su Fire Department Fire Marshal for certificate of approval indicating the development conforms to the current CMSFD adopted building and fire codes. Number 3, the applicant shall have successful application and approval of all required utility permits. Number 4, the applicant shall obtain approval for all permits required for driveway construction. Number 5, the applicant shall comply with all applicable requirements related to backflow prevention for beverage services as deemed necessary by the Wasilla Public Works Department. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the applicant owner like to speak on the application for conditional use permit 25-04?
Please.
Please write your name and contact information on the sign-up sheet. When you are finished, please state your name for the record. You will have 5 minutes to speak.
My name is Jeff Hatt. I'm the owner of,
You just turned it off, sorry.
okay. Yeah, I don't use this thing very often, sorry. Jeff Hatt. I'm the owner of GKS Properties. I own a couple of buildings in the General Overlook Business Park. And I've had the opportunity to work with Impact Gem to develop this youth training facility. I'm excited. It brings a lot of prospects for our youth in the city. And we're teaming up with CCS to try to take some of their kids that are unfortunate that they don't have the income to be able to participate in some of these items and present the ability for them to use it through the course of their school time at the buildings there. And they're going to even bring in field trips from their other facilities in the Wasilla area. And looking at what we've seen as far as the development, they've gone through the process of teaching me what a gymnastics training facility really looks like. And I think we're gonna have the best one in the state, right here in the city of Wasilla. I think it's gonna rival the lower 48 from what they brought in to me to show me how to develop it and make everything fit. And this thing started off as 6,000 square feet. And we just kept developing and developing. And the more we learned, to put another spot in for the youth, the toddlers was where the mezzanine come into play. We weren't gonna put that in. It was just gonna be the floor exercises. But they're gonna take that up there and set that up as the Ninja Warrior style for the little kids to get them on the balance beams and tumbling and from age 3. And I'm very excited, and I hope that you guys are excited as I am with this and approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you. So the public comments portion of the public hearing is now open for application for conditional use permit 25-04. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Anyone wishing to step forward may do so at this time. Where'd he go?
You left.
With no one wishing to speak, the public comment portion of the public hearing is closed. Does the applicant have anything else to address at this time? Now, may I have a motion to approve application for conditional use 25-04, resolution serial number 25-07?
Commissioner Seals, I make a motion that we approve CU 25-04, resolution number 2507.
Do I have a second?
Second by Commissioner Langill.
It has been moved by Commissioner DeYoung and seconded by Commissioner Langell to approve application for conditional use permit 25-04, resolution serial number 25-07. Is there any discussion by the commission?
Yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Looking back at the discussion we had a few minutes ago about parking and stuff, to the planner, is this facility gonna be used as a training center, but it's gonna be used as a competition center also, which means other teams from other places come into town, and how is that gonna affect parking?
Yeah, so I actually contacted the applicant regarding this because there is 33 parking spaces available on site. They did secure parking agreements with the neighboring lots, securing an additional 80 parking spaces for special events.
Thank you. And with that, so training is set at a certain time, but a competition usually go for days. So you got an agreement for additional parking that will occur the same time the other gym is open and the school is open. So would those 80 spots be available?
I'm gonna have to defer to the applicant on that one.
From what I understand, the things will be held on the weekend where the school is closed.
Okay,
And in the school that's adjacent to it, they actually have two facilities that we can park in, and there's 60 spaces there, and the gym has 60 on their spot. So actually, I have access to 120.
okay.
I figured 80 was probably adequate because I don't see the facility coming in where they're gonna have team events where it's gonna last for days. They're gonna come in and they're gonna do a specialized program where they're gonna bring it to Anchorage team in, and it's gonna be not two teams, not 20. It's more to get them trained to go south.
To leave.
They wanna take them to the
state.
nationals.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have obtained some pretty good coaches coming in from different parts of the country, well, different parts of the world. We got a coach coming in from Germany to treat trampolines. And he's a gymnastics coach, but that's his specialty. And so they've obtained, I'm not sure of the lady, she's in from Utah, that she's coming in and she specializes on the ground stuff. So they're setting themselves up to put us in a world-class competition as far as training them to go to these competitions outside, because that's where the recognition is gonna become.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I just want to thank the applicant for all the forward thinking and planning for future use in like the parking, working with your neighbors. So thank you. It's an excellent project.
With no further discussion, will the planning clerk please call for a roll call vote to approve conditional use permit 25-04, resolution serial number 25-07?
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Stafford?
Yes.
Commissioner Seals?
Yes.
Commissioner Langell?
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung?
Yes.
By unanimous decision, the conditional use permit 2504, resolution serial number 2507 is unanimously approved.
Thank you. Next, under new business is item 8.2. Will the acting city planner please read the item under new business into the record?
Commissioner Seals, planning clerk through the chair, I can read it into the record.
Okay,
As well.
it just
Yes, that was
following what you gave me.
following orders, exactly. So the
I'm in
next,
enough trouble.
the next item under new business is resolution number 25-08, approving ordinance number 25-14 as amended by city council.
Will the city clerk please provide a report, or does that go to the acting city planner?
That would go to the acting city planner if there is a report. I included that in the script if that is procedure. Otherwise, we could make a motion to approve and then
Well, that's,
discussion.
I was just waiting for a signal.
Chairman Seals, just wanted to follow up. This resolution came forward in support of repealing the downtown overlay zoning district, which would peel back that extra layer and put the property back into the original commercial zoning. The attorney worked with us for several iterations of this, and it also was a request from the city council to put this as a priority on this schedule, and so we hope that you guys would support it.
Thank you. Now, may I have a motion to approve resolution number
Wait, I'm sorry. 25-08 is the resolution that supports the ordinance amended by council. We flipped the, so we.
2509.
So we flipped the order, so I think, you know, we can either, I think we should go back and just, and we, you know, pin that and just go back to resolution number 25-08, approving ordinance number 25-14 as amended by city council. This resolution is the resolution that contains the ordinance that the commission has spent quite a bit of time on and all of those provisions, but it also includes, they did make some amendments on the floor. They did provide notice and hearings, and we tried to update the commission when they were making changes, but in order to make sure and preserve the commission's role in this, they did something that is actually unique. We don't see this very often. They subjected the adoption of the ordinance to commission approval. And so if the commission does not approve this, then Title 16 did not happen, and it does not take effect, and council will have to revisit it if they choose to, if the ordinance comes back before them. If the commission does approve it, 30 days after the approval, it will become effective. So you also see a different structure. You see the resolution with the ordinance in it to show the public that you have seen all of the amendments. Because while you could listen to the audio, or you could, you know, you could get that information some other way, the goal was to make sure that you had it in front of you, because there were 30 plus amendments, some of them very small, some of them didn't make it in the end, but we just wanted to make sure you had a draft where you could see those amendments. So that ordinance is not a new ordinance. You're not passing an ordinance. What you're doing is expressing through your resolution your approval of the ordinance in its final form. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about that? This is different, so I want to make sure everyone's comfortable. Does the acting planner have anything to add to that? I did not mean to jump in there.
No, I appreciate you keeping us organized.
So Commissioner Seals, I think what you're looking for as chair is just a motion to approve the resolution. I mean, that's sort of where we are now, if that's where you want to go.
Well, that's where I was led, and then it was gonna come up to approve the ordinance 2509 afterwards.
25-08, resolution number 25-08.
Yeah, and that's what I asked for a motion to approve.
Yes, but then our discussion kind of centered around the 09. And so that's why we sort of did a reset.
Can we approve them both together?
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Just so I'm positive here.
I am totally confused now.
Talking about 2508.
Yeah, and that's what I asked for.
That's again.
Ask again.
Now, may I have a motion to approve resolution number 25-08?
As amended by city code.
Commissioner Stafford, I move that we approve resolution 2508, which approves ordinance 2514 as approved by the city council.
Commissioner DeYoung seconds.
It has been moved by Commissioner Stafford and seconded by Commissioner DeYoung to approve resolution 25-08. Is there any discussion by the commission?
To the attorney or acting planner through the chair, as normal, I'm having a little bit of heartburn using the terminology that we are approving an ordinance.
That's an excellent point, appoint Commissioner Lanchell, but for the first and maybe the only time in the commissioner's decision-making realm, you absolutely are approving an ordinance. And the reason why, or refusing to approve it, I'm not suggesting that you will take one action or the other, but the city council has granted authority to the commission to approve this ordinance. So the city council, it is their instrument. The ordinance is their instrument. They subjected its effectiveness or its effective date or its adoption to your approval. That is within city council's authority. So while you will never see ordinance come before the commission to be approved, instead you'll see what you'll see next, right, is a resolution from the commission recommending an ordinance to city council. Because you work in the instruments of resolutions, not laws. We don't make laws on the commission. So that is, but in this particular circumstance, and this may happen again someday, but the city council has said, we don't want this to go into law until it has been approved by the planning commission. So that is why you have the instrument you work in, which is a resolution. And that resolution is approving the ordinance because you've been granted the authority or power to approve the ordinance. In fact, you've been given the duty to at least make that determination one way or the other.
Yes. Does that make it clear?
Thank you. As long as I know someone in authority blessed off for us to approve, I'm fine. But I do have one amendment. On line 23 and 24, I move to strike the second sentence, ordinance 2514 shall become effective September 26, 2025.
What page you on?
Page you on?
Yeah.
What page? 55 of 379. Resolution serial 2508,
I'm not voting for that.
line 24.
Did you perhaps mean page 57?
She's on.
Page 55 of 379.
Why not September
not?
26th?
Oh, there we go.
I thought it was 30 days, sorry.
30 days.
Sorry.
Yeah, nope.
Through the chair, I thought it was 30 days that we would get approval if we, to the attorney through the chair.
Yes, effective date says this resolution takes effect upon adoption. Ordinance 25-14 shall become effective September 26, 2025.
And
So-
that's based on the 30-day.
Yes, and so what this does is it just memorializes the date somewhere, because in the ordinance it says effective 30 days, and we feel like, so that was really a decision to, let's get that date, September 26th date, somewhere, so everybody looking for the date, we can use it to put on information.
T-shirt.
Yes, T-shirts, absolutely. Everybody earned T-shirts, so.
Never forget.
Then I remove my motion.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Call for the vote.
Todd?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I know there may be parts of this that some people still feel is not perfect, but we obviously have to acknowledge all the work our attorney has put into this, the city council's put into this, and I think it's way better than what we had before. So could it use tweaking? Yeah, but that's what the future's for. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be voting in favor.
Call for the vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Stafford?
Yes.
Commissioner Seals?
Yes.
Commissioner Langell?
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung?
Yes.
By a unanimous vote, resolution number 25-08, approving ordinance number 25-14 as amended by City Council is officially approved.
I feel like a confetti canyon should be going off. Just
You want some water?
One question through the chair to the planner or attorney. How long does it take now for, I know it becomes effective on September 30th. When will it be published? When, after September 30th, does the planning commission and the city start using a new ordinance? Or are we still basing all of our decisions on current ordinance? difficult.
Well, it's a more complicated question than you know, or maybe you do know, but there is a transitional provision in the new Title 16. It gives choices to your permit holders or applicants. So if a person was in the application process when this change becomes effective, if they've already filed an application, they can choose to select the new Title 16, or they can choose to have it, and I guess the default is that it'll be the application process is applied under the law and at the time it was filed. But they can choose to use the other law, and if they don't choose, then it's possible that they'll be awarded a permit or you'll approve a permit, but there'll be a non-conforming use, right? So that's the new world for a moment while everything transitions, but that is codified. And so for each permit, any quasi-judicial decision coming before the commission, as we work through the transition, we will communicate with the commission and the applicants what universe we're in as far as the laws, and that will be determined not just by the effective date of the code, but actually by the selection of the. And then on the other side of your question, as far as publication, that's an excellent point too, because at the moment, a lot of municipal code publishing companies have been a little bit behind. I think they've been overwhelmed with a lot of changes in law and those types of things. So I do know that the administration, your acting planner can talk more about this, but not only has plans to roll out information sheets and explanations and flyers and brochures, but there's also the publication of sort of a PDF, this is your new Title 16. And while we fully hope and expect the publishing company gets that code up before the effective date, the city is also preparing just in case that doesn't happen. So there's no question that it's available.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess. Time is 7:27.
Yeah, I've already talked to Citizens about that. So the challenge is that when you give them choices like that, you only have one permit. It's all or nothing.
Huh?
So
So they can't, what do you mean?
Correct. Correct. So like a use permit. Is that from Jeff? Technically is gone.
Yeah.
However,
We still have some in Concord.
Yes, we were granted a special Yeah, you did.
It got cold in here all of a sudden.
Yeah. And we can't mess with that.
I know, well, it probably shuts off at a certain time.
Saving money.
Yeah. Because we're riding in the red.
Okay, here we go, folks.
Okay.
Planning Commission meeting, back from recess, 7:35 PM. Will the acting city planner please read the next item under new business into the record, which would be 2509? Oh, well, she can do it. I'm gonna
Planning
just-
clerk through the chair, I can read the next item.
Perfect.
The next item that we have under new business is resolution number 25-09, support for repealing the downtown overlay zoning district design standards.
Are you gonna give a report, or is?
No, I'm waiting for, somebody gonna give a report, or are we just gonna vote?
Well, I'm just making sure, every time I say acting city planner, I get bumped down to the clerk, so.
Oh, you like it, Chairman. So I gave my report earlier. This is a request that came before us, not only from the commission, but from the city council, that it was pretty onerous on new development. It's really stifled development, and so this will peel back an additional set of regulations and put the property back into commercial zoning. And I think this is going to be very good for economic boost in the Wasilla area, and we hope you support it.
Thank you. Now, may I have a motion to approve resolution number 25-09?
Commissioner Stafford, I move that we adopt Resolution 2509, the support for repealing the downtown overlay zoning district.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Landshill, second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Stafford and seconded by Commissioner Langell to approve resolution number 25-09. Is there any further discussion?
Pretty.
Commissioner Landshill, just a question, I support this 100%, 110%. But my only question is, since this has been in the works 10-plus years, what are the ramifications for getting rid of it at this point? Do we have to worry about any of the businesses in this district? Have they spent money hoping this was going to be passed, or the intent was there?
Thank you, Commissioner Langell, through the chair. The true answer is they've just avoided us, and they've done what they want to do. And the reality is that things are already built with no intention of ever calling us. And so we are now getting applications for buildings that were constructed under this downtown overlay, most of the way, but not all the way, like paving the parking lots, making sure that the driveways are properly constructed. And so it is unanimous that the downtown overlay had maybe some great intentions, but it was so costly to comply that people just did not come into the planning department, because one business told me, $300 a day, you don't know my business, that's nothing. So.
Thank you.
My only comment is, when I first read what the downtown overlay district, I really felt like we were attempting to replicate downtown Palmer, which is a great place for community events and gatherings. And
There's actually some place in Florida.
okay, was the base, but and we all enjoy going to downtown Palmer for Colony Days or whatever, but we're never going to be downtown Palmer. The whole structure is built wrong. We'd have to rewind to, when the city was established in 1917 is when they built the tracks and Wasilla was born. But we can celebrate what we do have. We have a wonderful Wonderland Park that we can hold big community events at. Even Nunley Park being here as a resource. We have our strengths. let's embrace our strengths and not try to be something that we were never going to be in the first place. And I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but I would like to say I'm in support of repealing the downtown overlay. It'll help out our business owners, and it'll help reinforce what we've been saying lately, is that Wasilla is open for business. Thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Brown.
Did the administration, as they was putting this together, did they discuss any cons to doing this? To the citizens, not the businesses. I realize the businesses want this, but what about the citizens?
To Commissioner Brown through the chair, this has been part of our comp plan process. So just 2 weeks ago, we had the downtown business owners. It was a coffee and chat time. And the first topic that came up was the downtown overlay and how it's been very onerous for them to comply or to upgrade or to even expand their businesses. And so the con, I guess if there was a con, is we probably have not engaged as many of the community members as we could have, but through the comp plan process, I think it's very much a welcomed conversation. Especially when you talk about design standards, a lot of what's in the downtown overlay, from when you read through it, it's building up. It's building up with a lot of expensive, what the architects say is a higher grade of construction. And most businesses in Wasilla are one level. I mean, there's a couple 2 levels, but we haven't had the compact or the need to go up. We just still had the 1 floor, so. Yeah, that's what we've heard so far.
I understand the concerns that's being expressed here and stuff. I just hope as we do things and move forward here, and again, I use places like Juneau as an example of not having a plan. It's hard to go back and undo it at a later date. Juneau is up a long creek without any paddles.
Chair Seal, so my understanding of this is, as this repeal takes place in the end of September, that the regular provisions for any business go into place in the downtown overlay. There is no, there will be in no way, shape, or form a downtown overlay, correct?
It's effective.
When and if council adopts an ordinance repealing the downtown overlay district, the downtown overlay district will cease to exist.
So
It'll be
The-
repealed. And so the
the
commercial zoning
permitting
district
conditions
will.
that were just outside the overlay are going to be in effect inside the overlay at that point.
The conditions for the think of it as a
Let's call it the
layer
area.
over the existing commercial or the zoning districts. Right now, those zoning districts happen to be commercial, but I don't know what rezone applications have been adopted,
no,
or,
I
you know what I mean?
understand.
So
I understand.
So it'll be lifted, the downtown overlay district definitions and those sections of the code that regulate use will be gone.
Thank you. The only way to do a downtown at this point in Wasilla is to gather up all the non-used land that's just to the west of us and build a downtown. But there's no monetization there unless you go way up for the infrastructure, even in our downtown overlay that's soon to disappear. The only way to monetize that area is to go up. So we'd have to change our building height requirements. So, no, I think this is wonderful. I've been working on trying to get rid of this thing for a long time. So. Will the planning clerk please call for a roll call vote to approve resolution serial number 2509, support for the repealing of the downtown overlay zoning district.
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Stafford?
Yes.
Commissioner Seals?
Yes.
Commissioner Langell?
Yes.
Commissioner DeYoung?
Yes.
By a unanimous vote, resolution number 25-09 for support for repealing the downtown overlay zoning district design standards has been approved.
We are now at unfinished business. With no items under unfinished business, we move to communications. We are now at communications with the planning clerk. Please read the items for approval under communications into the record.
Thank you, Commissioner Seals. We have under communications 10.1, permit information, permits and licenses issued July 16th through August 19th of 2025. 10.2, enforcement logs, code violations, July 16th through August 19th, 2025. And 10.3, the Matsu Borough Planning Commission agendas from July 21st through August 4th of 2025.
Thank you. Any discussion? Comments, questions?
Mr. Chair, we had discussed some months back, is there any kind of way to track the status of those violations? We see citation was issued, but were they dismissed, were they paid, were they outstanding, were they ignored?
We need a few more columns on the graph.
I don't know whether that's possible through the.
And how much manpower and time is that gonna require?
So the good thing is code compliance works on the same platform as we do when it comes to land use and code violations. So we can go in there and note if it's closed and when it was closed, but the actual citation resides in the state monetary system. So if that's helpful information, was closed or not closed, we can certainly provide that in the report if it's been closed.
The close doesn't tell us.
It doesn't tell us if they paid or they appealed.
But it's one of those things too, every person violating the code is going to have a right to challenge or appeal.
Right.
You know, and they may come before the commission. So I think having it as a point of information that gives you access, you do want to create separation between that and creating a discussion point for the violations under the new Title 16, and also some changes we're considering to the nuisance provisions of the code. The commission will likely have a more active role in the appeals process for certain violations. So that is another consideration we have. I just thought I'd flag it for you.
And that's one of the things that came, I'm sorry, Commissioner Brown, that's one of the things that came up. Someone coming to us for a permit, do we have any proof that they have a history? So that's what I was hoping that we would have, some kind of record that the compliance officer could easily go to his computer and pull up Simon Brown and show, in the last 3 years, he's had 20 violations.
And that is part of the permit process. We can pull up, so when we go to approve an application and they've had the systemic abuse of not complying, we can make note of that and put some conditions on the permit before we approve it. But the reporting side of that platform isn't always that accommodating, which is pretty normal for software. Put the data in, but you don't always get it out in the format you want it, so.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Lanshell, through the chair to the planner or attorney. Two-part question. The code compliance report is based on the electronic app that's on the web? Is that what this report is based on, or?
To Commissioner Lanchell through the chair, it is provided, it's one of the reports out of our permitting platform through CitizenServe. So when a complaint goes into off the website, it goes into Problem Reporter, and then he acts on that. But unless he takes action on the complaint, it wouldn't go into that file under that property. But the planning clerk, Julia probably could, she works very closely with code compliance. When Charlie goes out to do an actual citing, he has to attach it to a file. But you can also get anonymous complaints that he'll go out, maybe look at, but not cite anything for it. That's not recorded. Just, it's closed out on the website that they went by, but unless action is taken, actual citation is issued.
So the report then is based on public submittals of complaints. It's not the code compliance officer.
Well, he puts that information into the system. So if he goes to Commissioner Brown's house at, 120 Smith Road, he'll pull up that file when he's out there, 120, and he'll create a code compliance report. And then that's where that information's coming from, any report that he's created.
So if he sees nothing wrong, nothing's gonna go into a system. There may be a complaint, but there'll be no action otherwise, correct?
Correct.
Well, and the second part of my question is, based on comparing City of Wasilla to other cities, is this complaint, the number of complaints that are reported, is that kind of normal? Is it more or less than comparable locales?
I couldn't answer that with any kind of scientific proof, but I can tell you in interviewing planners, probably 50% have even done online permitting. It's still a very manual process. So I don't know how closely cities are measuring their permits or even their enforcements. It just depends if they're all on the same platform. But I'm going to do a test now that you've asked me that. I'm going to pull up a couple addresses and see as these files are created, when they're initiated. It's possible that we have integrated with our new website into CitizenServe. But Julia, let's look at that tomorrow, and then we'll get back to Langell on that. Because we just upgraded our webpage. It hadn't been upgraded in 6 years. And so a lot has changed since then. So we will check that for you. But I don't know if we have a high number or not.
We now move on to audience comments. And since we don't have a lot of audience comments, we're gonna move on to just regular old comments. Does the acting city planner have any comments tonight?
Sir?
That's a great comment.
I'll second.
Does the city attorney have any comments tonight?
No, sir.
Another fine move. We'll save that one for last. Commissioner Stafford, do you have any comments?
I feel like it was kind of a significant night by, approving Title 16, repealing the downtown overlay. I feel like we did some good stuff tonight. So thank you, City Attorney, for all your work and keeping us on track. Otherwise, looking forward to the future in Wasilla.
Does Commissioner DeYoung have any comments tonight?
No, sir.
Good one. Does Commissioner Landell have any comments
Good
tonight?
meeting. I agree that it feels good to have so much accomplished. So let's keep it moving.
Commissioner Brown, you got any comments tonight? Why were you last? Well, I wanted to make sure there was a lot of time for you.
How many minutes I have?
3.
No, we'll give him 5.
No comments.
Commissioner Seals, I am so glad that this downtown overlay has been made to disappear.
Congratulations, guys, because
It's
I haven't been here long enough.
It's been a long process to bring this forward and get it done. And so, in Commissioner Stafford's same vein, I'm celebrating tonight because this is woo-hoo time.
Just one comment, though, it still has to go to council. You guys know that, right? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. So we should.
We've done
say
our part.
Celebrate, but no, yes, celebrate.
And I think it's gonna go fine. With no further business at hand, I'm adjourning this meeting unless an objection is raised. Hearing no objection, the meeting is adjourned at 7:55 PM. Thank you, everyone.